magic in your backyard. Go and find it!
We'll head around to all the towns, head away, holiday. South Aussie with Cosi's on sit down. South Aussie with Cosi. In South Australia we will go, head away, holiday. South Australia all the way, South Aussie with Cosi.
Well, how awesome is this? Welcome to another episode of South Aussie with Cosi. In this episode, I'm going to dispel two myths about the Flinders Ranges. Number one, listen carefully, you do not need a four-wheel drive to come and visit the Flinders Ranges. And number two, it's not that far. It's a really easy drive from Adelaide, and you give me the next half an hour of your life and I'll prove to you why you should be coming and exploring some of this. But first, let's check out what's on the show. I'll introduce you to Station Stays SA, 20 accommodation options in Outback SA. We'll check out Horseshoe Top End near Carrollton, where their campsites are 1 kilometre apart, and camping made easy at Bendelby Ranges near Orroroo. For only $63 a night, they supply the camper trailer. But first, something closer to town. You know, South Aussie with Cosi is not all about getting you guys out into regional South Australia. It's also about getting you guys to explore the beautiful city of Adelaide. We are going to come and have a look at the Adelaide Town Hall, and here's something that I bet you didn't know. You can do a guided tour of the Adelaide Town Hall for absolutely nothing. It costs you not a cent. That's a bargain.
The town hall is right on the Royal Mall, King William Street, and people drive past every day and they just see the building and not aware of it. But we've had 30 royal visitors here. We've had the Beatles, we've had the Donald Campbell, we've had the Pope just before the last one. We're all volunteers, there's 3 of us at the moment. We've been running tours since 1991 and there's no charge at all.
Righto, Glennie boy, I want you to answer a question for me, and it's a question that I bet a whole bulk of the population of Adelaide doesn't know. How did this city get its name?
Well, we're named after Queen Adelaide. She was wife of William, but she was Adelaide, daughter of the Duke of Meiningen in East Germany. But they were going to use Williamstown or Williamsburg.
Really?
But they asked the king for permission, and he said, please name it
After Adelaide. You know, the biggest crowd to ever gather down here out the front of the Adelaide Town Hall was in 1964 when the Beatles rolled into town. And how's this? John Lennon stood right here where I am and he looked out over King William Street to see over 300,000 South Australians that had gathered to see the Beatles. Can you imagine how awesome that would have been?
I was teaching at Unley at the time and someone said, where are the kids? And they said they've gone to see the Beatles, and some teacher said, I didn't know there was nature study today. There were no clocks for 70 years, just little holes for the pigeons. So Bonithan, who owned the advertiser opposite, used to look and he couldn't see the time. So he donated the money to have the clocks put in so that he could read the time free, just from his window. So they were just put in the time for the centenary in 1936. And when Bonithan was being buried West Terrace Cemetery in 1960, just as the coffin was going down, the clocks stopped. No one knows why.
I've totally fallen in love with the history of the Adelaide Town Hall. I've learnt so much today, including this. Do you know back in the early 1900s, right here in the Town Hall, they used to have an annual fashion parade. Hundreds of Adelaide's A-listers would gather right here on this very ground to check out the latest fashion. But it wasn't all about fashion back then. They even had some weird events like the annual bird show. That's right, this photo here is from the 1902 annual bird show at the Adelaide Town Hall.
This city is built on the first city to have municipal government, the first free city and first planned city. We've got all of these firsts And the town hall was the first ever town hall to be built in a major city in Australia, 1866. And we should be proud of our heritage.
Do you want to go four-wheel driving in South Australia but you don't know where to go? You're looking for places? Well, stick with me because coming up next, I'll introduce you to a mob called Station Stays SA. These guys have got a million tracks you can go crawling all over. You're going to love it.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Well, this is South Aussie with Cosi at its finest. We're in the Flinders Ranges. Now grab a pen and write this down. There's an organisation called Station Stays SA. Brilliant. What they do is they've got about 20 stations and properties in outback South Australia, lots of them up here in the Flinders Ranges, and they hook you guys, the travellers, up with properties you can stay at. It's cheap, it's affordable, and the one that I'm about to show you will blow your socks off.
We're a working sheep station here. We're 40,000 acres, about 4 hours north of Adelaide.
Now Jane, tell us about the campsite you guys have got here.
Well, we wanted to add something that we thought wouldn't cost us a lot of money to do, but would be great for especially young families. By the time they load up a camper trailer with the food and the kids and all of the stuff, we thought, let's make it easier. And so that's what we've done here. We just put them up when we've got someone coming. We can supply all your bed linen and all your crockery and cutlery, the whole caboose.
Yep, and ideally, the fact that there's 4 of these around the place, you could get a few families together and actually kind of have this whole area to you and your friends.
Yes, and added to that, we also have a 3-sided shelter.
Yep.
You have your own fire ring, you have a picnic table and a gas barbecue.
All right, how much for this for a night? What's it cost?
$63.
63 bucks.
That's it.
You should be charging more than 100 bucks for that. So you set it up, you pull it down,
Yep.
people just rock up in a 2-wheel drive straight from the city, pull up here for 63 bucks a night.
Yes.
They can stay here. What if I have we've got 3 kids, the wife and I plus the 3 kids? Is it extra per
Same
head?
price.
63 bucks for the lot.
Yes.
We've got some of the best kept secrets in the Flinders through here, and for anyone from the city that's just looking for a nice idyllic place to camp with remoteness and seclusion, we've certainly got plenty of that on our property here.
This is Gumdale Cottage, which is suitable for up to 8 people. Great for families, a couple of families. A big covered outdoor eating area outside, 2 showers, 2 toilets, and it's $40 an adult and $20 a school child per night.
One of the features of Bendelby Ranges certainly is the 4-wheel driving. There's 160 kilometres of 4-wheel drive tracks here. The 4-wheel driving is matched to suit your ability. So if you're not a confident 4-wheel driver, we won't send you in places that you're going to be too challenged. So when you arrive, we sign you in, we issue you with a set of maps, and then we'll run through all the tracks that are open with you, and then we'll match 4-wheel driving to suit your ability.
This is our shearers' quarters. The main building has 6 bedrooms. 4 of them are twin rooms and there are 2 rooms with 2 double bunks. So the main building can sleep 16, but recently we've added 2 bunkhouse rooms which can sleep another 16. So we're sort of geared up for either large family groups or groups of friends or even school groups. It's ideal.
Oh, hey, look, I know this is a little bit of a weird travelling tip, but if you come up to this station, one thing you have to do is go to the toilet and just leave the door open. Have a look at the view.
We're pet friendly here at Bendelby Ranges. So long as we know what you're bringing and how many pets are likely to be in a group, we're pretty happy with that.
You know, a lot of people seem to think that if you want to come up to the Flinders Ranges, you need a 4-wheel drive. It couldn't be further from the truth. We've come up here on this trip and I've deliberately done it in 2 Metro Holden cars. One's a wagon and one's the Cruise. You don't need a 4-wheel drive to explore the Flinders, and don't let that hold you back. There is so much you can do up here in a normal car, and there are loads of accommodation options. But when it comes to your car, before you leave home, there's some important things to remember. Gino from Metro Holden, well, he gives us the lowdown.
It's important before you go on your holidays, you check your vehicle. Make sure you check your tyres, check your pressure, make sure you got 2 millimetres of tyre level. Check your oil, your brakes, your windscreen wipers. Also check your washer filler and your water levels, but make sure you check your coolant when the car is cold. Check all your headlights, your reverse lights and your indicators. It only takes 5 minutes, make sure you do it. If it all gets too hard for you, Metro Holden will service, safety check your car, put a first aid kit for you for $79. And if you want to ring us, you're more than welcome and we'll make sure we look after your vehicle for you.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Hey, next time you're on Facebook, do me a favour and like the South Aussie with Cosi Facebook page. It's about all things South Australian. And did you know over 30,000 South Australians are already members of the page? Free to enter, and there's something in it for you guys as well. How cool is this? 11 holidays are up for grabs. All you need to do is like South Aussie with Cosi, the Facebook page, and enter. I actually got to call back some of the winners from last series a couple of months ago, and it's fair to say they were pretty chuffed. Take a listen.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Oh my goodness me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have made my day.
Fantastic. Oh, fantastic.
That is great. That's fantastic.
Get on Facebook and you could win 4 nights in a cabin at a Discovery holiday park of your choice. There's Robe, Barmera, Whyalla, Clare or Semaphore. You choose. 4 nights free accommodation in a cabin. Head to Facebook, like South Aussie with Cosi and enter. Good luck. I've got an event that's coming up in Adelaide that'll suit 99% of you. It's called the SA 4-Wheel Drive and Adventure Show plus the Club Marine SA Boat and Fishing Show. It's all under the one roof at the same time. This event is a cracker. The beauty of this event is it's 2 shows in one. You've got the 4-Wheel Drive and Adventure Show plus the Club Marine SA Boat and Fishing Show. It's going to be held at the Adelaide Showground. Now get your diaries out, load these dates into your calendar. Friday 25th to Sunday 27th of October. It kicks off at 9 a.m, 2 big entertainment stages and a host of celebrity presenters, including my old mate Ernie Dingo. Oh, how cool is this as well? You can actually sit for your boat licence while you're at the show. I think that's a great idea. This show's been going for years now, and this year it's going to be 30% larger with the addition of Wayville Pavilion, plus there's over 140 exhibitors. Best of all, there's something for everyone of all ages and the family as well. New model boats, 4-wheel drives, featured display luxury 4-wheel drives in Adelaide's largest showroom, over 22 brands of camper trailers. The list, my friends, goes on, and the kids can try the bungee trampoline. Loads of fun. Adults only $15, concession $12, and this is the best part. Children under 16, when accompanied by an adult, they're totally free. It's a cheap day out with stacks to do, and it'll have you inspired to travel around this great state and enjoy some leisure time, whether it's on a boat, on a jetty, in a 4-wheel drive, or just in a deck chair. It's the 4-Wheel Drive and Adventure Show / Club Marine SA Boat and Fishing Show, all rolled into one. For more info, head to the website and we'll see you at the Adelaide Showgrounds 25 to 27 of October. So I guess I'll be seeing you there. If you haven't been to one of these shows before, you'll love it. It really helps prepare you for your next trip around regional SA. You know, there's plenty of people out there that are finding it really tough to save money. So I've bailed up Mark Lewis from Bernie Lewis to find out the best way you can start saving for a holiday.
Saving money means, you know, you're not scratching around from week to week. I once read a book which was called The Richest Man in Babylon. And it's a bit of a fable, but it has some really strong messages about paying yourself first and putting aside 10% of your salary each fortnight and putting that into a separate savings account and using that money wisely to save for a holiday, to save a deposit for a house, or whatever it is that your goals are. So, you know, when you get your pay packet, pay yourself first. If you find yourself in financial strife, you know, look, cost of living is high at the moment, a lot of bills coming in. If you've got unpaid bills there and they're overdue, don't just ignore them. Contact the person who sent you or the company that sent you the bill and come to an arrangement with them. You know, no one's going to turn you down if you say, I can only pay this much per week.
We're cruising around the Flinders Ranges in our cars from Metro Holden, but you know, back in the day, in the early 1900s, it wasn't cars that they were getting around in, it was camels. That's right, the mode of transport quite often in the Flinders was the mighty camel. Then a little later, cars started popping up through this area, like these cars. They were actually part of a 1920 expedition led by Sir Douglas Mawson. Who's he? Well, Douglas Mawson was one of Australia's best explorers, and of course he had the suburb Mawson Lakes named in his honour. You know, city slickers up here in the Flinders Ranges are rarer than the yellow-footed rock wallaby, but if they only knew how good it was, this place would be crawling with them. Coming up after the break, I'll show you yet another reason why you should be visiting the Flinders Ranges.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Welcome back to the Flinders Ranges. You know, this is a region of South Australia that not enough people, in my opinion, are exploring. It is actually really simple to visit. It's made a whole lot easier too by a mob called Station Stays SA. They've got like 20 properties on their books, and the best thing about it ranges from really budget, really super cheap shearers' quarters and that kind of thing, camping sites, to luxury accommodation like this, Archipina Homestead, located at Rawnsley Park Station. Paula tells us how Station Stays SA began.
Well, I was actually approached by one station that said I'd love to start connecting with other stations around there and have a bit of a talk about some of the issues and what we have in common and a bit of cross-selling. And so we started a meeting in November 2009. We had 13 stations actually turn up. They were quite nervous at the start because they're in the room with their competitors, but we soon got them to realise that their competitors are actually their advantage, and their cross-selling is something that's just invaluable to them. And so we basically kicked it off with Station Stays SA. They come up with a name and the geographical boundaries, the Flinders Ranges and the Outback.
We thought we'd actually suss out one of the stations on their list, which is Horseshoe Top End. Write that name down because this place is a cracker. Plus, it's not actually that far from Adelaide.
Here at the Horseshoe Top End, we offer homestead accommodation, camping, and our campsites are all private campsites, so you're at least 1 kilometre apart from your nearest fellow campers, and each campsite can take either a small or a large group.
This is what it looks like.
The homestead accommodation is very popular. It suits people who either haven't got camping gear or they just don't like camping, and they've got the benefits of a camping holiday. You're isolated, you can have your own campfire, bushwalking, so with the comforts of a modern, renovated kitchen and bathroom. We can sleep up to 12 people. We have 4 bedrooms, 2 with a queen size bed each, and then the other 2 bedrooms have 2 singles and a bunk bed each. Camping costs are, we try to make it really reasonable so that families can get up here and take their kids out of the city and away from their structured timetables and stuff like that. So the cost is $15 per adult per night and $7.50 per child per night. Every day I still appreciate the views that we have here, the bird life, the plants, the peacefulness. We just feel privileged to live here, and so it's been a really good opportunity for us to be able to share it with other people. They get here on a Friday night and they're stressed and tired, and by the weekend, they're just so relaxed and not wanting to leave. It's really just good to see, and especially good to see kids getting out and about, away from their computers, and just doing what kids do.
When it comes to four-wheel driving, Horseshoe Top End has got it totally sorted. Over 30 kilometres of awesome four-wheel drive tracks, and what you do basically, you rock up in your four-wheel drive, you pay $50, and that's for the entire stay of your camping trip. They give you maps, they give you keys, and they'll show you where to go, and you can explore all of this.
Well, here at the Horseshoe Top End, we try to make four-wheel driving really easy for most people. So whether you're an adventurer or just the casual people around or person around town who's got the four-wheel drive who wants to try them out, we've got a various range of tracks. One of the really special things we have is pretty much where we are now, which is a campground with these amazing views of the main Flinders Range, and you've got views from Mount Remarkable to the south, right through to Wilpena Pound in the north. But this site is only accessible by four-wheel drive, so if you've got a good four-wheel drive with low-range gearbox, you can come here with your tent, or you can actually tow your camper trailer up here, but it's totally isolated from anyone. Your nearest campground would probably be 6 k's away, and you've got it all to yourself. Don't be restricted to our calendar year long weekends and school holidays. Make your own long weekend. Take a Monday off. Get together with your mates, take a Monday off or a Friday off, make your own long weekend and come out here, and you could possibly have a lot of the place to yourself.
Well, that's it for another episode of South Aussie with Cosi from the Flinders Ranges. We're going to finish up here at Horseshoe Top End. You know, this is only just over 300 kilometres from the CBD of Adelaide. 2 things about the Flinders that I hope I've changed in your mind. Number 1, you don't need a 4-wheel drive to explore the Flinders Ranges. And number 2, you know, it's not that far at all. So make an effort to get up to the Flinders. Before I let you go, don't forget, like the South Aussie with Cosi page, you could win one of 11 free holidays to areas like this in South Australia. And the other thing is, folks, time's running out to travel. Don't let life pass you by. Book yourself a holiday. Get on this website here, Station Stays SA. 20 properties in Outback SA. Choose one and just go. See you next time.
In South Australia we will go, head away, holiday, South Australia all the way, South Aussie with Cosi.
South Aussie with Cosi is proudly brought to you by the South Australian Tourism Commission.
South Aussie with Cosi.
I like possums.